And whatever plant you see all the bees on, that's the one you buy.
Welcome to Red's Homestead!
Good morning, one and all, and welcome back to Red's Homestead. We have a little bit of a special day today. We're going to a Homestead festival. Why is today special?
Huh?
Why is today a special
It's your
day?
birthday.
Oh yeah, and it's my birthday. I'm turning 26 for the 10th time.
But yeah, he will move for quite some time. Even when I get his skin all the way off, his muscle's gonna still be twitching. And I'm no person that knows anything about their bodies, but the first one I did was years and years ago, long before YouTube. And I was raised in a city, so I didn't have any experience. And I told my family, we're not eating the first birds. I'm just gonna literally butcher them and see what happens. Well, I didn't realize that some of my cuts, depending on where it is on the neck, that bird, when there's no head, can still cluck at me. So be aware, if it starts making noises, it's not demon possessed. You just missed the voice box, I guess. Okay, if you're gonna depuluck and not put him in the scalding water, just start as soon as you can. Anybody who wants to come up and pull some feathers, you're welcome to swing up here, just make it quick.
Yeah.
Roll the video for me. That's right. Yes, beautiful. All right, next one, come on.
Oh my goodness.
I think they know what to do for the next kids event.
Just do a couple of picks, guys, and let someone else do it. I'm gonna cut my wings off. Usually the birds I'm raising are not like the stuff you buy in the store. There's not a lot of meat on these wings. I'll take the back part, but not the front. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut right inside that wing, and I'll break my joint so I can cut it off the rest of the way.
What kind of birds do you raise?
Anything that clucks, really. We eat them all. I'm not big into meat birds. They don't give me enough eggs, so I try to do a dual purpose. And the top side, there is a fat gland in there if you're going to keep the skin. But if you cut the top and the bottom of that tail, then you can just twist it off. Now I'll start up here. This does not take much practice. You'll see what looks like skin and what looks like meat. You don't want to cut your meat. If you do, just keep going. It's no big deal. So I'm just going to make my slit all the way around, just a little easier for me. And again, there's so many ways to do it. I've been doing this, I thought about 15 years, but I think we're closer to 17 now. And my family's all still alive, so this way works for me. I get a pinch of the skin and I'll just start peeling it down. And I'll try to change the position I'm standing in so you guys can see, but feel free to come up and around if you want to see a little bit more. It's a little hard to get the leg started, but once you do, it does peel off pretty easy. The older the bird, and some of the breeds, it doesn't peel as easy, I've noticed. Don't ask me which ones are easier. I have never documented it.
See, the key to moving this without hurting anybody is just give it a good shake and jerk before you move it, and then they all run inside. And then you can just yank it and don't have to worry about running anybody over. So it is strangely 51 degrees this morning, and it's 100 degrees during the day, 50 degrees at night. It's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be mid, it's been 70, low 70s that we wake up. So it's a nice little pleasant chill. So we're going to talk about that little festival while I harvest some tomatoes. First off, the drive there was pretty easy for us. It was what, an hour and a half, 2 hours?
Yeah, it's not 2 hours.
And one interstate, and then once we got there, the place was gorgeous to drive. It's like driving through the mountains.
Yeah.
So how much did the tickets cost?
Yeah, $5, but then kids were free, like 10 and under.
Yeah, $5. I mean, you can't get better than that.
And it was their first time.
Yeah.
This.
It was their first time doing it. And
Sad.
that being struggling. And it's not like $250 a person like at the HOA conferences, but it was really cool to see that it was local, and that was kind of the whole purpose of the event. It was farm where you live, and it was South Carolina, but we're pretty close to South Carolina, so we saw a lot of the local farmers.
People I follow on YouTube.
Yeah, some of the YouTubers,
YouTube. Yeah, YouTube and
Instagram that you follow. And then it was also nice to see in person how to skin a chicken instead of plucking and scalding and plucking and all that good stuff, how to skin a chicken. Because this one Cornish cross that we have in there, randomly, I was thinking of skinning so I don't have to set everything up. Use all that propane to scald it. Still not 100% because I love the skin. So I hate to get rid of it, but it'd be a nice way to learn how to do it without any electricity, any tools, anything, in case we needed to at some point in time. So it'd be a good skill set to do. So another really cool thing about that place was the vendors, all local vendors, and I found beef jerky. Lots of beef jerky. It was really good recipe. Though I'm a little biased that the one that we make is still my favorite, but
because it's fresh.
yeah, but this stuff I mean is good.
Not that that's not fresh. It's just like we eat it within like a day and it's done.
Yeah. But it was really cool to see the feed suppliers, blacksmiths, tons of like herb and tinctures and
people
oils and
selling
soaps and
Pork, chicken.
Yep. So we're starting on this side of the chicken run. Over here, all these beautiful tall plants are hers. It's her sunflowers.
Which the Japanese beetles seem to really like.
Yes, the Japanese beetles are my arch nemesis from the old property in my grapes. But
They
here,
can have the sunflowers that I don't plan on using.
yeah, they can attack the sunflowers and it keeps them away from, well, grapes and everything
I
else.
still feed them to my chickens though when I see them.
Yeah, like this is the perfect place to have them land because they'll land on a leaf right here, and then we flick them into the chicken run and they grab them. It's a little game.
Oh, here's one.
Yep.
Here. Ew, I don't want to touch you. Oh, gross. Ew, don't. But I don't want you to fly away either. Hey, girls. Nope, I don't think they saw it.
Didn't see it. They lose the game. So also within this bed, on either side, I have corn, and it's coming up pretty good. You can see right here, all throughout on either side we have corn. In between the corn are my pole beans right here, and then I finally had some success. I didn't think it was going to be any, but the watermelon is also coming. So late sprouts, but they are coming up, and I don't feel like I completely failed over here, because this is my three sister garden where instead of corn you can use sunflowers. You just want something tall for the pole beans to grow up, and then you want something ground cover like watermelon, squash, whatever that covers the ground. So this still can be salvageable. And then sunflowers, obviously, we can feed them, dry them out, feed them to the chickens.
I'm not going over there. We're trying snakes now.
And that's pretty much that whole bed right there. This whole bed, we have more corn all throughout, except instead of sunflowers in there, I have 3 rows of corn going all the way down. But the same principle of having beans and watermelon in between. At the very, very end, I have a second onion patch. I think there's about 50 or 60 onions in there. Here we had potatoes.
I don't think they did well.
Yeah, they didn't do well, but I'll show you a part where they did do well. So on this side over here is where we did our swale, and you can see all along potatoes. I mean, they're about 2 feet at their tallest. Some of them are about 1 foot, but it's almost 100% success. And we haven't done anything to this potatoes. We don't
come over here to water them.
We don't water them. We don't do anything, but that's what the great thing about having a swale is. It captures the water, keeps the water, keeps the soil from draining out, and helps them thrive. But back to the garden. So we're back on the side of the house, and you can see Shannon's more sunflower planting. We used tree stumps pretty much all over the place. They were hollowed out by ants, and we planted some flowers. Mostly the sunflowers have done the best. This part is probably the most successful side of the garden. Although, I mean, I'd say the corn and everything over there is doing really well, but this side is the side I like the most. So yes, we have Shannon's watermelon here that has outshined mine.
It's a competition now. No, I'm just
It's a competition now. I've got only 2 small okras. We're not a big okra eater, but I do want to try pickled okras. And
I like them fried.
yeah, fried okra. So through this bed right here, I have all peppers, I think about 22 peppers. And then at the end, tomatoes. Mostly my aromas are on this side, because those aren't going to last as long as my indeterminates, like the big boys and the cherry tomatoes. And then in between each plant, I have some successful, some not successful, is beans. Mostly not successful though.
We have tons of it.
But I want to say at least 100 bean plants, more than likely. It's not that we're, incredible bean eaters here, but they just do so much adding nitrogen to the soil that I just use it for that.
Yeah, I like to use them if I make dog food.
Yeah,
Like
dog food with some rice, chicken.
And then whatever veggies they can have, I'll add in there.
These are our squashes. We have our zucchinis right here, all doing really well. I've already harvested 2. Then we have our cucumbers that are finally starting to go. About 6 cucumbers. Got about 2 or so, almost a day or 2 away from harvesting.
I'm so excited because I can't find any healthy cucumbers without like food coloring in them.
Yeah, the pickles. Then cantaloupe. It's funny because I have now 8 cantaloupe, and I grew 6 of them by seed, and they weren't doing very well after I transplanted them. They just kind of were stunted. So I bought 2, and after I bought 2, the others just started really growing up. So we're gonna have a lot of cantaloupes too. And at the very end, we have the squash. We have 2 squash. We're not big squash eaters, but
Those are more for my chickens because I
For the
heard
chickens.
that they're good for deworming.
yep, deworming.
Squash.
The same reason we're gonna do pumpkins too later, is we don't eat masses of pumpkins. But so the last bed on this side, I've got some Swiss chard that's still growing strong. We just kind of pick it as we go, more for treats for the chickens and rabbits. We don't eat it that much. This is the spinach. Oh yeah, Shannon's got her amaranth.
Trying it. Never done it before. Heard it was edible. Thought I'd try it. It's also a flower, so.
Yeah, we'll see how it turns out. We have the Marabar spinach. It's about the only spinach that I'm successful at growing because it's extremely heat tolerant, and hopefully that's going to turn out well. I got a massive bush of many parsnips right here, you have, I don't know what that is.
It's not doing too well because we just got it like last week and it was just too hot before it established. It's a sombrero adobe orange coneflower. I don't know. It was pretty and the bees liked it. And it's a perennial.
That's a tip for if you're trying to find a good flower for your garden to attract pollinators. Go to Lowe's, Home Depot, nursery, whatever, and whatever plant you see all the bees on, that's the one you buy.
That's what we do.
It's simple and easy. What do you got here? Rosemary?
Yeah.
Yep, we got some rosemary down here. This is kind of the leftovers of radishes.
Yeah.
We've pulled most of them.
There are issues with them cracking open.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why, but I also haven't looked into it yet.
I think if it's anything like tomatoes, it's too much water and it makes them crack open. But this is your zinnias?
Yes. Which I had some up front, but they died. I think it just gets too much. It's just too high over there.
Yeah. This is where I failed with the kale. So we're attempting now zinnias, and Sharon's got quite a few growing.
Yeah, it was just dollar store box.
Comfrey, right here. Tons, thousands of uses for it. Food, comfrey tea. It's huge benefit plant. So, and then lastly, these are my tomatoes that I'm growing in cages. They're actually doing better, but they're about 2 weeks ahead of these tomatoes that I'm growing on the string. So I'm curious in 2 weeks if those are going to end up looking like these. What's in that one?
Calendula, I think is what it's called.
Calendula, yarrow, mint.
Spearmint.
We got some strawberries, citronella. Don't know what's in those two.
Those are just flowers.
Flowers. Our neighbor's on vacation right now, so they brought over their. They have 2 tomatoes and 1 pepper plant. Yep. We convinced them, or they convinced themselves, or whatever. We motivated them to at least get something. So we're taking care of it while they're on vacation.
They're Austree hybrid willows, and I was just gonna plant them, let them grow, because they can get like 50 feet, and I was just gonna cut them when I find a tree I like, but they're not doing too well. I think I had 16. I've only planted 1 in the ground.
And on this side over here, our blackberry run. I'm training them like you train grapes, even though I actually need to do that some more because it's starting to go over and into the chicken run.
This one's coming out.
Yeah, this one's coming out. Then I have a couple more comfrey plants down here. So we'll go to the failed garden. So the garden that's not doing so well. I failed miserably with carrots. Could just be what's in the beds because I started seeds over here for the early spring. I did my cilantro. I don't even remember anymore, but I did a bunch of seeds and nothing grew. Basil, nothing. We have the carrots on this side. Very poor germination rate. I mean, I planted probably 75 and I think I have 3. But
never harvested that.
Yeah, that's her dill.
It bolted like fast. I think only had it a couple weeks.
And what are these 2?
This is pineapple sage and sage. They're still doing okay.
Yeah, the sage is doing well.
It's not. This one's growing. This one is getting there. I mean, it's got new growth and it's not dying. So
I'm good.
I've never done them before, so I don't know.
Citronella. We do a lot of citronella because we don't spray anything, so it kind of helps keep the bugs. The asparagus is pretty good though.
Yeah.
It hasn't really grown too much, but it's holding its own. We only lost 1 of the 4, which really, I mean, asparagus grows so big that having 3 in there is still enough. And then you have more, I failed here with the broccoli. Yeah, I fail every year. I don't even know why I bother. We just don't have enough cold. You know, it goes straight from freezing all the way to 90. You only have like 2-3 weeks to grow something that's cold weather. So I'm going to keep trying, try again, but just got to find a better place and method. potato patch, this is actually doing pretty good. We just recovered a lot of the plants right now, and they're already starting to peek out. This one, I failed on the peas. Again, we don't have very much time to grow cold weather. And right now it's got parsnips in there, which are doing okay. Toward the bottom, these are the ones really doing well. We've got our fig tree right here. I've got 2 loquats right here. And then our calamondia, which is kind of a citrus. It's almost like a lime. It did really well last year. I thought I killed it, but it came right back and it's strong as ever after I pruned it up. Oh, and I guess I should end it with these massive towering spires.
And yes, I've been drying some leaves.
These are the grape mullions. And what are the beneficial properties of a grape mullion?
Oh gosh, so it's really good. You can use it as, what I plan to do is dry some leaves and make tea, and that'll help expel mucus from the lungs. And then I'm gonna make a tincture, an eardrop solution, because it can help with earaches, stuff like that. I'm still learning about it, but I plan to make different uses out of it. But it should be really good with colds and stuff.
Yeah, and they're huge. No problem growing them here.
Yeah, they were just here, and so I was like, well, let me figure out everything I can about them and then just let them grow. I pulled up one though that was kind of almost in the middle of the driveway.
Yeah. I think that's it.
I pulled the leaves and the flowers to dry.
Because, well, I didn't show these over here, actually, in the pots. I didn't tell what they were.
The grapes.
Yeah. I have more loquats. These are the starts of the grapes.
I think what I'm gonna do for the grapes is we're gonna plant them over where we did those
the potatoes.
Good potatoes, but I'm just gonna build something like I did over there with the sticks for them to grow on. It looks nice, I guess. And,
yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And that's it. Our garden 2022.